Welcome to the news on Lagos Television tonight. President Bola Tinubu writes Senate seeks support for military intervention against Niger military junta. President Bola Tinubu withdraws Mariam Shetty from ministerial nominee list, adds Festus Keyamo, Maria Mahmood. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu felicitates with Nigeria Immigration Service on 60th anniversary, calls for synergy between security apparatus and border management. And on the international scene, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny gets additional 19-year jail term on extremism charges. Thank you for joining us. I am Adetola Kayode. You're welcome. President Bola Tinubu says despite the nation's current rate of energy supply, his administration is poised to addressing all obstacles militating against stable electricity supply in the country. He said his administration will bring solutions to the multifarious challenges across the electric power sector value chain, which will significantly relieve long-standing problems of suppressed demand and improve the steadiness of peak supply for Nigerians. President Tinubu spoke at the groundbreaking ceremony of the new 350 megawatts Gwagalada Independent Thermal Power Plant, Phase 1, where he urged the NNPC and its partners to deliver the landmark project within the promised 3 years completion timeline. The president noted that a swift improvement in the stability and amount of energy supply will enhance national economic development, which remains a cardinal priority of his administration.
The groundbreaking is highly significant to the nation, and it marks the first bold step in this administration's concerted effort to establish a strong and varied energy sector that will drive the economy. Energy, I always say, is the most important discovery for humanity in the last 1,000 years. There's no life without power.
The Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Malam Melikiari, says the NNPC Limited will leverage on the nation's endowment of gas resources to power the nation's industrial growth and stimulate job creation, adding that through the project, the NNPC Limited would be providing a huge boost to the national grid.
To achieve this national aspiration, NNPC has been invested heavily in domestic gas footprints expansion projects through the delivery of the Trans-Nigeria Gas Pipeline project, which includes the Escravos to Lagos pipeline systems, we call it ELF and F1 and F2, the OB3 gas pipeline, and the Ajakuta-Kano AKK gas pipeline.
Meanwhile, the Gwagalada 350 megawatts Phase 1 project as part of an incremental 3,600 megawatts cumulative power project that is based on market-driven designs along the Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano gas pipeline corridors, which will further underpin the project's economic viability while generating multiple foreign direct investments for the nation. And President Bola Tinubu has dropped a ministerial nominee, Mariam Shetty, and chosen two others, Festus Keyamo and Maria Mahmood. Senate President Godswill Akpabio revealed this when he read out a letter by the president at today's plenary. This came moments before the fourth round of screening commenced with a former governor of Osun State, Adetola. Those awaiting screening include former Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, Bello Matawale of Zamfara, and Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State. Others are Abdullahi Gwazo, Bosun Tijani, Isiak Salako, Tunji Alausa, Yusuf Sunono, Ibrahim Gaidam, Lola Jean, Shuaibu Audu, Tahir Maman, Aliyu Abdullahi, Alkali Saidu, Heineken Lokwabori, Maigari Amadu, and Zephaniah Gisalo. Recall that the upper chamber on Monday screened 14 of the first batch of ministerial nominees, including 28 names forwarded by the president last Thursday. The Senate on Tuesday screened 9 nominees, including ex-governors Nasir El-Rufai Kaduna and Dave Umahi Ebonyi. The exercise resumed on Wednesday with the screening of presidential spokesman Dele Alake, senior advocate of Nigeria Lateef Fagbemi, Muhammad Idris, Ali Pate, and Doris Uzoka. Afterwards, the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, submitted Tinubu's supplementary ministerial list with 19 nominees to the Senate. In the meantime, the Senate has written to the the President has written to the Senate seeking its support for military intervention against the military junta in Niger Republic. He also sought the backing of the legislature on the cutting off of the electricity to the country. The leaders of the West African Regional Bloc met to discuss sanctions to be placed against the military personnel who toppled Bazoum on July 26, 2023. Tinubu told the Senate that the country is embarking on sensitization of Nigerians on the imperative of these actions, particularly via social media. He further sought support for military build-up and deployment of personnel for military intervention to enforce compliance of the military junta in Niger should they remain recalcitrant. The Arawa Consultative Forum has cautioned the Nigerian government and the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, led by President Bola Tinubu, against the use of military force against the coup plotters in Niger Republic. The forum, while condemning the July 26 coup in Niger, led by Brigadier General Abdurrahman Chiani, asked the African Union and ECOWAS to dialogue with the coup plotters as one of the civil measures to restore democratic governance in that country. Its General Secretary, Murtala Aliyu, notes that the use of military force against the coup plotters in Niger will not guarantee peace and stability in the ECOWAS sub-region. He added that the military option shouldn't be a criteria for the international community's continued efforts to enthrone democracy in the region in the 21st century. The forum, however, views with concern the unfolding events in Nigeria's immediate neighbor, Republic of Niger, and the potential impact on the region. And moving on to other matters, the federal government has moved to implement the no work, no pay policy against members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors who embarked on an indefinite strike last week over the non-implementation of several of its demands. This was contained in a circular by the Director, Hospital Services, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Andrew Noah, on behalf of the Permanent Secretary, addressed to the Accountant General of the Federation. According to Noah, the various conciliatory meetings by the Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment with government stakeholders, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and the National Assembly proved abortive in getting NARD to call off the strike. Recall that the resident doctors declared a total and indefinite strike action on July 25, listing their demands to include the immediate payment of 2023 Medical Residency Training Fund, the immediate release of the circular on one-for-one replacement, and the payment of skipping arrears. And here in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has appealed to officials of the Nigerian Immigration Service to be vigilant at the country's land borders for proper migration. He said this at the lecture organized to commemorate the service's 60th anniversary. Maugbe Josu reports.
As the Nigerian Immigration Service celebrates its 60th anniversary simultaneously across the Federation, here in Lagos, part of activities outlined to mark the event is this lecture where Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by the Director, Cabinet Office Omotayo Gbajabiamila, commends officials of the service while calling for improvement in all spheres.
We all know that the Immigration Service plays a very crucial role in controlling the movement of people in and out of the country. The service is also responsible for the issuance of passports to bona fide Nigerians and the issuance of resident permits to foreigners in Nigeria and other duties which borders on national security. The Lagos State government is particularly desirous of an NIS that is efficient and effective in the discharge of its mandate, being the first contact of migrants to Nigeria. I therefore urge you to maintain vigilance continually and to carry out your duties creditably, continually, with a high sense of patriotism.
They are part and parcel of the internal security architecture of the country, manning the border component as well as monitoring and checking the influx of people through all our borders across the country. They have been doing a wonderful job in the last 60 years. This is something that we have to recognize and we have to also commend them.
In his part, the Comptroller of Immigration, Lagos State Command, Bala Dangana, promises regular migration.
The Nigerian Immigration Service on this occasion decides to christen this occasion as enhancing seamless regular migration because of the global trend. Presently, we are confronted with global migration, and there's need for the government and the Nigerian Immigration Service to sensitize Nigerians on the need of regular migration, because this regular migration has been, in one way or the other, created negative image for the country at large.
Meanwhile, men of the service earlier held a walk to sensitize Lagos residents on the ideal migration processes.
People go out of the country without knowing the reason why they are going out sometimes. Sometimes they have been taken out of, sometimes it could be child trafficking, human trafficking, child labor, prostitution, and all form of inhuman treatment. So we're trying to use this medium to tell them that even if you have to travel, let you be aware of where you're going and how you go about it, with regular documentation and full address of where you're going, so that
the work commenced from the command office Alagbon to Obalinde through Falomo and back to the office. Maugbe Josu, LTV News.
The Lagos State House of Assembly is set to begin the screening of commissioner nominees sent by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, but not without expressing some reservations over its composition. The legislators say the list is not a reflection of fair and adequate representation. Adetola Ojeshola reports.
Conversations and deliberations at the Lagos State House of Assembly plenary in Yoruba, an 8-man committee headed by Honorable Fatai Mojid, has been set up to screen commissioner nominees presented by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. A number of the legislators complained about the exclusion of party loyalists and representatives of some local government areas on the list. Responding, the Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, appealed for the understanding of members, knowing full well that commissioners cannot come from all the local government areas in the state.
We should look at the list from the angle of competence, knowing that every member of our local government cannot be on the list. Secondly, I am supporting those requesting that nominees' name be attached to their local government areas they represent.
The House then directed the clerk, Barrister Olalikon Onofeko, to write the governor requesting that nominees' local government areas be attached to the list. Another committee, headed by Deputy Speaker Honorable Mojisola Miranda, was set up to look into the circumstances surrounding the untimely death of Dr. Vaire Diaso at the Odo General Hospital after Honorable Olariwaju Afini, representing Lagos Island Constituency 2, raised the matter of the doctor's death under a matter of urgent public importance.
The House should summon the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, the Managing Director of Odo General Hospital, and every other stakeholder that can assist the committee in this assignment.
The Assembly also confirmed the appointment of the State Auditor General Adewuyi Moshood Adewale, who was nominated for the position by Mr. Governor after he was screened. Ajibola Ojeshola, Lagos Television News.
The Managing Director, Lagos Water Corporation, Mukhtar Tijani, has held a meeting with the management of the Lagos State Water Regulatory Commission towards an improved supply of potable water to residents of Lagos State. Tijani said the meeting is to foster a cordial relationship between the two agencies with a shared goal of enhancing the lives of Lagosians through improved water supply. He also emphasized that harmonious working relationship between both agencies will lead to better service delivery and the resolution of critical issues. Responding, the Executive Secretary of the SWACO, Funke Adepoju, stressed the significance of transparency and adherence to international best practices in ensuring effective water delivery across the state. Adepoju called for prompt action to restore orderliness about service interruptions caused by infrastructure challenges from road contractors. Both parties expressed their commitment to building trust and ensuring reliable water services to the people of Lagos. You're still watching the news on Lagos Television. Still ahead. Lagos State Emergency Management Agency signs MOU with Nigeria Investigation Safety Bureau on disaster management. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.
That's right, you too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Looking for an event center that is very conducive, classy, elegant and affordable? Look no further than Lagos Television Event Centers. With a serene environment, spacious parking lot, guaranteed security with impeccable facilities, you are assured of one-of-a-kind events. For concerts, movie screenings, exhibitions, trade fairs, weddings, funerals, symposium or any other large gathering, LTV Event Centers guarantees a splendid occasion. Located in the heart of Ikeja, take advantage of the prestigious blue roof with a capacity of more than 1,500 seats, the fully air-conditioned 650 seats combo hall, or the new 400 seats BOS banquet hall, also fully air-conditioned with uninterrupted power supply, all at an affordable rates. For further inquiries, call 0802 328 5410. Lagos Television Event Centers, a tasteful event center for your delight.
Thank you for staying tuned. President Bola Tinubu has called on the people of Kogi West Senatorial District to maintain peace and unity ahead of the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in the state. Speaking at a meeting with leaders of Okun Development Association led by Professor Michael Ikukwolati at the presidential villa, the president assured them of his commitment to looking into their concerns regarding marginalization and the need for fair representation in governance of the estate. According to a statement by the President's Special Advisor, Ajuri Ngilali, the delegation had expressed unwavering support for the Tinubu administration and requested the President's backing for Kogi West Senatorial District to have an opportunity to produce the next governor of the state. Regarding the issue of power rotation and constitutional provisions to guarantee equal rights for all senatorial districts, the President said he would thoroughly examine the matter of fair representation that they brought to his attention. President Tinubu assured the group that having listened carefully to all their concerns on issues surrounding the elections in November, he would look into the issues very carefully to ensure fairness, justice and equity, but democracy is still a game of numbers. The Lagos State Police Command says the launch of Operation Flash has successfully helped to arrest 39 suspects in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Idowu Owohunwa, stated this while parading the suspects, saying their crimes vary from murder, vandalization, unlawful possession of suspected counterfeit currencies, and child abduction. Maube Josu reports.
On July 27, 2023, the Lagos State Police Command launched Operation Flush, which is aimed at combating crimes in the state. The command's public relations officer Benjamin Hundeyi, representing the Commissioner of Police Idowu Owohunwa, gives updates on the operation's effectiveness at fighting crime in Lagos.
Igboro Rashid, 39 years old, Rasak Adeleke, 30 years old, and Moses Victor, 23 years old, responsible for the murder of Inspector Sunday Akochi in Festac area, particularly Alakija bus stop, under Festac Division. Your routine stop and search, which some people kick against anyway, yielded results as we're able to arrest one Agbo Ichi from Anambra State with a firearm, a Beretta pistol. This time around, we're not talking about the locally made pistol. We're not talking.
They further informs that the command has been able to recover some items from the suspects.
And today we have a total of 39 suspects. We also have 6 arms recovered, 26 live ammunition, 2 expended ammunition, and some other arms, battle axe. We also have 4 vehicles recovered today, hard drugs, counterfeit currencies. We also have bridge railings from vandals, bridge railings, and so on.
The suspects were arrested for various crimes including conspiracy, cultism, robbery, murder, vandalization, unlawful possession of suspected counterfeit currency, and child abduction. Maugbe Josu, LTV News.
And in order to ensure proper management of disaster and thorough investigation, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigeria Investigation Safety Bureau. The signing of the MOU happened at the LASEMA head office in Lagos, where the two agencies agreed to partner for comprehensive disaster management. Correspondent Joshua Murakinyo has more.
The Permanent Secretary of LASEMA, Dr. Femi Okeosointolu, flanked by the Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Engineer Akin Olateru, on the verge of signing what they term a partnership that works. Having cemented several partnerships in the past, including 25 UN agencies, the LASEMA board sees the MOU as a holistic disaster management strategy, while assuring Lagos residents not to panic because of the investment of Mr. Governor in managing disasters in Lagos State.
Under this administration, we've removed the paradigm from response system to holistic emergency management. This type of MOU is to assure the good people of Lagos State that in Lagos, when there's an emergency, you don't need to panic.
On his part, the NSIB DG believes the handshake is about Nigeria and the need to investigate for safety and not to blame.
We don't investigate for liability, we investigate for safety. Ours is about ensuring that we issue the right safety recommendations to prevent the reoccurrence of that occurrence.
They both advocate more collaboration for effective safety management.
We are not the first responder. We are investigators. But the first responders need to understand their role, and they need to understand our role so that their role will not affect our own performance.
We've evaluated our emergency response system in all our local government, and we can say emphatically that we are ready, we are well prepared. Let us give kudos to Mr. Governor for us to be having this kind of MOU with these reputable organizations.
According to NSIB DG, staff of LASEMA will be trained in the next couple of weeks on standard operating procedures for accident scenes, especially how to preserve evidence and protect themselves as well.
The partnership that works.
Joshua Murakinyo, LTV News, Lagos.
And the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, alongside other relevant agencies and authorities of the Lagos State government, have initiated a move that will help uncover the actual cause of the elevator that malfunctioned at the General Hospital in Lagos Island. In a statement jointly issued and signed by the General Manager of LASCOPA, Afolabi Sholibo, and the Executive Vice Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of FCCPC, Babatunde Irukera, the two agencies will invoke consumer protection regulatory intervention and action regarding the unfortunate incident at the General Hospital, Odon, Lagos, pursuant to Section 17 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. They assured members of the public that LASCOPA and FCCPC will continue to work hand in hand with other relevant authorities to ensure the safety of facilities for the benefit of all. LASCOPA is the agency in charge of consumer protection in Lagos State, while the FCCPC is the highest federal competition regulator in Nigeria, responsible for protecting market competition and promoting consumer protection. Mothers must engage in exclusive breastfeeding for babies from 0 to 6 months. The chairperson, Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Lagos State Chapter, Adetola Ikine, stated this during a courtesy visit to the association's creche by the FHI 360 Alive and Thrive Nigeria in commemoration of the Breastfeeding Week.
Space where we can have enough space for our babies to play, like a playground area where they will eat and have toys and all of that. So we are hoping that we can get a permanent place where we can move to, where we call our own permanent site for Nawatch Daycare.
Representatives of Alive and Thrive commended members of Nawatch for creating a creche to ease the stress of working mothers.
To note that your price is affordable, at least whether you are a civil servant or you work in the market as the informal private sector, you can afford to pay the fee. So because I know that it's not a profit, because I know from myself the cost of maintaining this, paying the caregiver and all that. So I really want to, appreciate the award for the kindness, and the commitment to working parents, providing care at a price that they can afford.
After 6 months of resumption, some mothers always find it difficult to know where to put their babies, and some practically stop breastfeeding. But this daycare is meant for mothers to resume work, have a conducive environment to put their babies, and come during lunch to breastfeed their babies, and come like every 2 or 3 hours to breastfeed their babies.
With the 2023 theme, Let's Make Breastfeeding and Work Work, Mothers and organizations are advised to make the office environment conducive for nursing mothers to practice exclusive and healthy breastfeeding. The springing up of companies and business organizations will help enhance the economy and internally generated revenue of Lagos State. Guests at the Business Activation of Heritage Center, Ifakogba, say this will definitely shore up Lagos's economic rankings. We have details in this report.
It's the launch of a one-stop shop with all the necessities of every human being. Located in Ifako, Iju area of Lagos State, the Heritage Center is well positioned for residents of Ogba, Agege, Iju, Abulegba and its environs.
I've always looked forward to something like this around because most times, especially on Sundays after service, I've had to drive far away to enjoy myself. But now this is the place to be.
So this place opened at the right time. I think it will save so many of us the stress. I was just joking today there. That means after service on Sunday, we have a place to just come into, shop and eat before going home to rest.
For the first time in the history of Ifako-Jai, I was so amazed. I love it, and it's a good place for everyone in the community.
The 5-story building Heritage Center houses a supermarket, 3 general cinemas and a private cinema, an eatery, children's play area, a rooftop lounge and workstations.
For somebody again to have thought of it, that all the things attached to cinemas are here, supermarkets is here, food is here, confectionaries are here, games are here, children's toys are here. Then what do we need for? What are we looking for again?
It's all about the name that it is called Heritage Center. It's a center that people around here will find useful, that people around here actually need, so that they don't have to get to Ikeja, get to GRA, not to talk of Island, before they too can enjoy nice things. And I think that this is nice.
I've gone around the building that's really wow me, especially when you get to the rooftop there. It's incredible, it's lovely, relaxing. I think this is another way to promote tourism in Lagos State. As a former commissioner for tourism, it really means a lot to me. It's so nice. It's where people can come. It's a one-stop shop where you get everything when you're talking about entertainment, when you're talking about relaxation and all sorts.
Bringing Island to Iju, this is massive. This is especially the cinema, the lounge, the waiting area is just massive. It's unique. I'm wowed.
Heritage Center brings together both the young and old, friends and families who believe that life should be well spent. Olubukola Akin Kolosho, LTV News.
That's talking about full representation socially. Still to come on the news. United States Agency for International Development wants Nigeria and other African countries to brace up for higher food prices over Russia-Ukraine war. That's some business news. Please stay with us. In business news, the United States Agency for International Development has warned Nigeria and other African countries to brace up for higher food prices following recent developments that have temporarily halted Ukraine's food exports to African countries. USAID's Deputy Administrator for Policy and Programming, Isobel Coleman, said this on Thursday at a virtual press conference. She says Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea Grain Initiative had already begun to trigger higher food prices around the world. Coleman noted that developing countries feel the impact of the food price hike more because they are import dependent and had conventionally relied on grain imports from Ukraine. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was conceived to specifically allow for commercial food and fertilizer, including ammonia, exports from 3 key Ukrainian ports in the Black Sea. And the Nigerian Exchange Limited on Thursday announced the listing of the federal government's 130 billion naira sovereign sukuk through the Debt Management Office on its platform. The NGX, in a statement, said the listing was a 10-year 15.64% Ejara Sukuk deal in 2032. According to the DMO, the sovereign sukuk opened for subscription in November 2022 with an initial offer of 100 billion naira and garnered interest from investors with a subscription level of 165.25 billion naira. This represented over 165% of the amount offered, and 130 billion naira was allocated to accommodate more investors. The DMO added that the total sovereign sukuk issued from 2017 till date stood at 742.56 billion naira, and the proceeds had facilitated the construction and rehabilitation of over 75 roads and bridges across the country. The Nigerian Navy has countered an allegation of a vessel carrying stolen crude oil, which the Tantita Security Services supposedly intercepted in the Koko area of Delta State on Wednesday. The Navy, in a statement by its Director Information, Commodore Ayo Vaughan, opposed the notion that the vessel was acting without authorization. The Navy said MT Prezo was duly approved by Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to load 1,114,721 liters of high-power fuel oil from July 26 to August 8, 2023. This, is said, has been substantiated by the regulatory authority in line with standard operating procedure and to ensure strict compliance with the approval. Naval officers were deployed on board to monitor the discharge of the product by MT Prezo at a facility at Bonny. Recall that the Tantita security outfit, who recently signed a contract with the federal government to protect oil pipelines, said 1,117-ton vessel purportedly intercepted was carrying about 8,100 barrels of crude, was flying a Togolese flag, and was being escorted by Navy boat led by senior naval commander. Nigerian youths need to explore and take adequate available opportunities that will make them real problem solvers and also increase the country's content in service industry. At a skills development seminar for some youths in Lagos State, professionals say this is key to further expose them to the challenges of globalization and have a knowledge-based economy.
We put this together as a way of, CSR, as a way of educating the young out there so that they can have something valuable to give back to the society, so that they can develop problem-solving skills to be able to solve real life problems.
As I think the students that come in will get to learn what data analytics is, what it should be used for, the systematic arrangement of data analysis, and every other thing, at least just the basic of what data analysis is. So if they can go out there, they're able to brag, I'll use that word, brag, that they know some basic things about data analytics.
They also encourage them on critical thinking, innovation, and other positive values to ensure an all-round development.
It was our first session for the class, and we were talking about problem decomposition, and we also talked about algorithms, talked about written specification, basically the peripherals, fundamentals of success development. That is what we are starting from today, and the class was quite interesting.
We're going to acquire skills that we're going to use in real life, that to improve in our various fields. Like I, as a budget officer, with the knowledge of an ICT that I'm going to acquire here, I'll be able to apply this ICT to my field, which is budgeting.
Besides exposing participants to meaningful activities in life, the training is part of an initiative to design creative solutions for the country. And next, the stock market reports and foreign exchange market figures. And now to some sports stories. The Africa Warriors Fighting Championship have commenced the qualifier series for athletes ahead of the national tournament scheduled for October and December this year. The first phase of the qualifiers was concluded last month in Kano State. Sports correspondent Ijoma Chigu tells us more.
The African Warriors Fighting Championship was founded in 2019 by Maxwell Kalu. The African Warriors Fighting Championship aims to raise global interest and awareness in Dambe, traditional Nigerian boxing. Hugely popular in Nigeria, Dambe has built a large international following and has secured hundreds of millions online views. African Warriors Fighting Championship is also working to raise health and safety standards in Dambe, a previously non-formalized sport which has been practiced for hundreds of years, has introduced the first unified rule set for Dambe and pioneered the presence of medical staff at events. In Dambe matches, athletes are permitted to strike with one hand, which is wrapped tightly in knotted cord and known as the spear. The other hand is used defensively and is known as the shield. Athletes can also kick with both legs.
So as it is now, we've secured hundreds of millions of views on our content from fans across the world and in Nigeria. We have a TV show that we just launched on Pop Central TV, and we also just brought on board our key sponsor for this year so far, Stake.com. So a lot is happening. Dambe as a sport is continuing to grow. People are continuing to carry interest and watch the sport. So we're very excited about the future for Dambe in Nigeria.
The qualifiers is basically to select athletes who will take part in the national championship billed for October in Abuja and Lagos in December this year.
So coming up, we have the King of Warriors events. So these are championship events in Dambe, never seen, never done before. So it's a two-part event. We have the first one coming up in October in Abuja, more information coming soon. And then we have the next one coming up in Lagos in December. So it's a really exciting time for the sport, These are going to be big live events never seen before in the sport of Dambe.
The African Warriors Fighting Championship AWFC Dambe matches are contested over 3 rounds, and victory is secured by knocking out an opponent or causing his hand, knee or back to touch the ground. Ijomachibu, Lagos Television News.
The president of the Pan-African Scrabble Association, Adekoyejo Adegbeson, has commenced the 2023 African Games Local Organizing Committee for including the sport at the fiesta, which was postponed to next year. According to the president, the inclusion will enhance the growth of the sport on the continent and help the body push for Scrabble to be part of the Commonwealth Games.
Scrabble has been confirmed by the local organizing committee of the 2023 African Games as one of the sports which will feature at the Games in Ghana. The mind game, which has been included, will feature as a demonstration sport when the Games hold in Legon next year. Demonstration sports are competed for without a medal. The nod from the LOC came after a last-minute push by the Pan-African Scrabble Association during the Dr. Winifred Awoshika African Youth Scrabble Championship Trophy Tour in May. The approval from the LOC, chaired by Dr. Kweku Ofosu Asari, covers both the French and English-speaking Scrabble-playing countries. An elated president of PENASA, Adekoyejo Adegbeson, appreciated the solid effort of Ghana's Minister of Sport, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, in making the inclusion of Scrabble into Africa's Olympics a reality.
They know what the lasting legacies will be, not only for Ghana, but for Africa. And we will put up a show in Ghana next year. We will put up a show, and we hope that's going to be a legacy that will last forever, to be honest with you. So I'd like to really, thank all these people whose name I've mentioned for making our sport Scrabble one of those games that will feature, one of the 29 sports that will feature.
He also commended the Scrabble Association of Ghana President Haruna Adamu and the Secretary Christy Ashley for their strategic contributions to this cheery development.
There's going to be an increased demand, of Scrabble coaches, of Scrabble trainers, around the continent. With Scrabble now, demonstration sports and going to feature in the African Games, you start to see schools, you start to see universities, facilities will require the services of Scrabble coaches, because they now know that Scrabble is a game that is played, at the African Games level.
In his remarks, Adamu said so much work went into getting Scrabble to become a demonstration event at the African Games, while lauding efforts of PENASA to stage the World English Language Scrabble Players Association on a bid to get the sport into the Commonwealth Games.
This one is going to garner us to make our case with the Commonwealth Games, because look at it, everybody in the Commonwealth colonies speak very good English. So with Scrabble being given a chance, I think it will be a game changer. And secondly, with this participation, we can have the say to host the next 2 years WESPA Championships in Africa.
The postponed games in Ghana will hold from March 8 to 23rd, 2024.
And outside Nigeria, we hear Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been handed a further jail term at a trial at a remote penal colony. Navalny was found guilty of founding and funding an extremist organization and activities. He denies the charges. He's already serving a 9-year term for parole violations, fraud, and contempt of court. The charges are widely viewed as politically motivated. Since his jailing in 2021, Navalny has been held at a remote penal colony. Navalny will serve his time in an even more restrictive special regime colony, which Russian state prosecutors had been calling for. There, he is likely to face greater isolation in this prison, where it will be harder to talk to other inmates and communicate with the outside world. He could also receive fewer visitors than he's used to, including his family and defense team, and may face longer periods of solitary confinement. In a message posted on social media ahead of the verdict, Navalny expressed his belief that he would be handed a Stalinist-style prison term designed to frighten other potential dissenters. And it's now time for us to check out what tomorrow's weather will look like. And just before we go, let's take another look at our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has written the Senate seeking support for military intervention against Niger military junta. And the president has withdrawn Miriam Shetty from ministerial nominees list and ordered Festus Keyamo and Maria Mahmood. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has felicitated with Nigeria Immigration Service on its 60th anniversary. He called for synergy among security apparatus and border management. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has bagged additional 19-year jail term on extremism charges. And for more news, please connect with Lagos Television on these social media platforms. And that's the way it is on the news at 8 on Lagos Television. In case of emergencies, please call 767 or 112. They are toll-free lines. I am Adetola Kayode, and on behalf of the crew, we wish that you have a wonderful weekend. God bless Nigeria.